While 401ks have some great features and benefits, they also have some limitations and some downsides. And I don't want you to have any blind spots as you plan for your Christian retirement. So today, I want to unpack 7 downsides or limitations of a 401k. Thanks for tuning in. Hello, and welcome to another episode of The True Wealth Show. If we haven't met before, I'm Planner Mike, a certified financial planner professional and owner of True Wealth Financial. I believe their retirement should be prosperous, enjoyable, and purposeful. This is a show that's dedicated to helping Christians retire with confidence and clarity, so they'll ultimately be freer to serve God and live the life that they truly desire. Thanks for taking the time to tune in. According to the Investment Company Institute, Americans have roughly $9 trillion invested in 401ks. This figure represents a collective assets held by over 70 million active or retired participants. And as Aesop famously said, it is possible to have too much of a good thing. And some people I found that they think that's all they need and they really over-rely on it. So today I want to bring to your attention maybe 7 limitations of only focusing on your 401k. And of course, we'll close with a micro action to help you get one step closer to confident retiring. Limitation number 1, limited investment options. The reality is inside of a 401k, you have maybe 20 to 30 total options. And as a trustee is making the choices of what to put in that 401k, they have to keep in mind, they have to have something for 20-year-olds and something for 70-year-olds and everything in between. And so really for your situation, of those 20 to 30, you're going to find like 3 to 5 good ones that help you meet your objectives. Compare that to an outside account, maybe at Schwab or Fidelity or someplace like that, where you have not just 10 to 20, 30 options, you have tens of thousands of options. Limitation number 2, that is contribution limits. So in 2025, you can put $23,500 into account. You say, Mike, that's enough. Well, it might be enough for you if you're really young, but if you're really behind and you're trying to catch up and you're trying to hammer and kind of sprint to the finish line like some people do, it's not enough. And you say, well, what about the over 50 countries? Yes, over 50 people can put in more. They put in an additional 7,500. And now there's this weird law starting this year of ages between 60 and 63 where you can put an additional 11,250. And then after 64, it goes back down to the over 50. I don't know why they did that, but this is Congress. You know, they always think things through. And so you're still limited to, $30,000 to $35,000. I talked to a person recently who's trying to save $50,000 to $60,000 a year. So this account's not going to completely do it for him. Yes, he can use some of it, but he's going to have to find other places because he's capped as to how much he can actually put in it. Another challenge with a 401k is that of early withdrawal penalties. That money that you put in a 401k is locked up until you're age 59 and a half. You can take it out, but you're going to be penalized, right? And yes, there are some nuances and some fine details. You can potentially get it out early, but that's only if the plan allows it and only if it meets your actual criteria. So for someone who's trying to retire in their 50s, this account, while it might work for your 60 beyond money, cash flow needs, it's not going to help you in your 50s, certainly not in your early 50s. So, yes, you might be getting the match, but saving in other places is going to make that money more accessible, especially if you're looking to retire early. The next thing I've seen too many times, and I call it the trail of lost accounts. So as you change employers, what people do a lot of times is they leave their 401k behind. Research shows that people will change careers at least once in their lives, and on average, people change between 3 to 7 times before they retire. That's a lot of accounts to leave behind. And the challenge is if you go try to find them later, right, it's hard to go find. I've had cases where with clients, they left their 401k, we try to go find it. Well, now, they change providers. The company used to use Fidelity. Maybe they use ING now. So you go to Fidelity, try to find your account. It's not there because it moved. You don't know where it is. You don't know the account number. You don't know the login. You don't know the link. You don't know anything, but you have this lost 401k out there. So what do you have to do? You have to contact somebody you might know at the company, which might be awkward if you left on not so good terms. Try to find out someone in HR who's willing to help you, point you out, randomly call up the 1-800 number and say, I think I might have a 401k, right? Crazy. The best way to avoid that is when you leave your company, take your money with you, right? Roll that money to a 401k, or better yet, to a rollover IRA that you can set up, and you can kind of roll in all your accounts over time. All four of those limitations are essentially on the accumulation side, the climbing of the proverbial mountain. The next three we're going to talk about have greater impacts as they fall more on the distribution side, or the going down the mountain after retirement. But if you're finding this information helpful or valuable, do me a favor, please hit the like button. It'll help spread this information to other people who might need it, and it's a great way to say thank you and show your appreciation for the channel. So as you'll see, the next three that we're going to list really impact three of the four pillars of the True Wealth Total Retirement System. So as a reminder, the True Wealth Total Retirement System is a holistic approach that we take towards retirement planning. Starts with a comprehensive plan, knowing what you want, when you want it, what retirement looks like for you. That then drives your income needs. Your income needs then drives your investing. Now we have a good idea of what your future tax picture is going to look like. We have certain levers that we can pull to reduce taxes over time. And then we always want to secure your estate through insurance and estate planning. So number 5 limitation of only focusing on your 401k is that of required minimum distributions. Right? So required minimum distributions is the idea that the government at a certain point in time will force you to take money out of your 401k. The way the government sees it is when you put money into that 401k, you put your money in, and in theory, that money didn't get taxed. So money that should have gone to Washington also got put into their account. So the way they see it is you have some of their money, and they allowed you to use it and help grow your retirement, but they're only going to do that for so long. Essentially, they're saying at some point, hey, we want our money back. And they use required minimum distributions to do that. So RMDs apply to all tax-deferred accounts, 401ks, 403bs, 457s, including traditional IRAs, SEP IRAs, simple IRAs, right? And they force you to take that money out, whether you need it, want it, or desire it. It doesn't matter. They're going to make you take it out. This is how a lot of widows get into what we call the widow tax trap. The widow tax trap is the idea that widows have enough income. They're no longer in a married filing jointly. They're in a single bracket, which means they get through the brackets higher. And now they have enough money, but they're forced to take more money, ratcheting them through the brackets to pay even more tax than they would have if they weren't a widow. Speaking of future taxes, that brings us to limitation number 6. Ed Slott famously wrote a book. He's a IRA distribution expert, professional speaker, and author. He wrote a book called The Retirement Savings Time Bomb Ticks Louder. It's the idea that when money comes out of that 401k, you get no special tax treatment, right? It all comes down as ordinary income rates. There's no long-term capital gain, no short-term capital gains, no tax-free gains, no tax treatment at all. It comes down as ordinary income. Well, let me ask you this. I know we just got a tax bill that kind of cemented the rates, but given the amount of debt that the United States government's taking them on and the amount of interest they have to pay in that debt, do you think they're going to need more money or less money? Like, have you ever seen the government say, no, we're going to spend less? It doesn't happen. They constantly spend more. If they constantly spend more, what's that mean? They need to collect more. How are they going to collect more? Yeah, I know, tariffs, right? No, they're going to collect more in the future from you and me as tax rates are going to increase. That's how they're going to do it. So you're putting money in, getting a deduction at one rate, but you're going to take it out potentially at a higher rate and pay more tax in the future. So that is limitation number 6, future taxes. Number 7 also has to do with our last pillar, and that is protection. So limitation number 7 is that there's no step-up basis. Again, there's no special tax treatment, even in death. So in a brokerage account, for example, when a person dies, the value of those investments gets marked to the value of the date of death, right? So they have their basis, what they paid for it. Upon death, it gets revalued, their basis, it gets step 2 basis, comes up to the value. And in theory, that money can go to the heir, and then the heir can sell it right away and not pay any tax. Right? So that money has never been taxed. Well, the government, again, is not going to allow that for a 401k because they've never have taxed any of that money. So 401k money, when it's given out, even in death to a beneficiary, is considered IRD, income in respective to the decedent. And that will get reported on either a 1041 estate tax form or a 1040 tax form of the beneficiary, and it will be taxed as ordinary income. So no special step-up basis, even in death. So as we conclude, if you're still with me, please consider subscribing. It helps spread this information to others who might need it. And more importantly, you'll be notified of future episodes. Today, we talked about the downsides of focusing only on your 401k. I'm curious, what of these 7 downsides surprise you the most? Let me know in the comments. Now, ideally, how much you put in your 401k should be done in conjunction with an overall comprehensive retirement plan. One that considers your aspirations, your goals, your income needs, timing, and a whole lot more. I understand how overwhelming and confusing they can be. So if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the comments below or send an email to mike@truewealth.show. But a good micro action for this week might be, if you really want to do something, take about 5 minutes and total up how much you're saving outside of your 401k. And then look at that number. And if that number feels a bit too low, guess what we found? We just potentially found your next financial priority. Remember, 401ks are great retirement vehicles, but they're not the only one. And too much of a good thing can become a bad thing. Hopefully this helps you on your path to a prosperous, enjoyable, purposeful retirement. Till next time, hope you have a great day. God bless you. Thanks again for taking the time to watch this week's episode of the True Wealth Retirement Show. But just a couple more things before you leave. Number one, if you're looking for any help with your retirement planning, or you know anyone who might be looking for some help, I offer a 30-minute, no-cost, no-obligation conversation to anyone, and I'll try to point you in the right direction. Number two, if you're looking for some resources to help plan your retirement, check out planyourchristianretirement.com. And one final note before we wrap up. While I hope this information is helpful and valuable and insightful to you, it's really meant for informational and educational purposes only. Prior to making any decisions or taking any actions, I strongly encourage you to talk to your legal, tax, estate, or financial advisor who's familiar with the unique circumstances of your particular personal situation. Thanks again for watching. Until next time, hope you have a great day. God bless you.